Question 2. Complete the following table of values for the height and the weight of 7 students. So we have here the idea of the mode, the median, and the mean, and standard deviation. So you obviously need to know what these terms mean. So the mode is the most frequent value. The median is your middle value when you put your data in order from smallest to biggest. Your mean is your regular average, the total number divided by the number of different values you got. And your standard deviation looks at how far spread out your data is. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can use either your graphics calculator or you can actually work it out. So I'm going to do it both ways. So firstly, doing it for this over here for the height, I'm going to firstly do that using the writing method, and I need to put these in order. So I'm going to have 148, 151, 158, 163, 171, 171, and 184. Now, always make sure that you count and see that you haven't missed any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we seem to have them all. So we have got the mode. The mode is your most common one. So we have got 2 of those. So your mode will be 171. Your median is your middle number. Now, when you've got an odd number of values, then there's just one middle number. And here we see that there's 7. So we divide 7 divided by 2, we get 3.5. We see that we have got 3 there, 3 there, and the fourth one would be there. So our median is equal to 163. Our mean is equal to 164, and our standard deviation is equal to that. Now, if I wanted to do this on the calculator, I could have done this. Going back, I have actually put in the data here. You can see in my list 1, I have got that data. So we go to Stat, and I go across to Calculate, and I do one variable test. And I say Enter, and I've got to tell it now this was in my first list. So I put it in L1, and I say Enter, and it gives me all the data. So I didn't need any of that data, but you'll notice here that it's given you this value over here is your mean, which is 163.7, and here we get 164, so it's rounded. And if I go down here, it gives me other data here. It gives me my median there, my 163. So I've got that. It didn't give me my mode, so we had to, 171 was the third quartile, so no, it didn't give the mode, I don't think. I'll just go along. So you had to work out the mode yourself, but that's pretty straightforward. Now for the second one over here, if I'm going to work out the mean, I've got to add all of these values, 53 plus 61 plus 58 plus 82 plus 45 plus 72 plus 82, and I've got to divide by 7. That will give me my mean. My standard deviation, if I'm going to calculate it without the use of the calculator, I use this formula over here. This over here is my standard deviation. And basically what you do is you need to take your each value. So you take 53, 61, 58, 82, 45, 72, and 82. And then you subtract from that. Your mean. Now the mean for this one is, in this case over here, is 64.7. So you'd say 53 minus 64.7, like that, and you do each one like that. 64.7, 58 minus 64.7, 82 minus 64.7, 5 minus 64.7, 72 minus 64.7, and 82 minus 64.7. And then you actually square each of those. So you see you've got your formula here. You square each of those. So you square each one. So you've done that part over there. You've done that minus the mean, and then you squared it. And then this symbol over here is you take the sum of them. So you add all of these numbers all together. You do all of that. You add them all together, and that you get the sum. And once you get that, then you divide it by n. So let's just say when you've done all of that, you get your let's call it the sum. I'll call it big S. All right. You take big S, you divide it by the number of values that you had, which was 7, and then you take the square root of that, and that will give you your standard deviation. So it's quite a long way, but fortunately we've got the calculator which can do it for us. So if I just go to my calculator, I've got these values in here. If I go back to my stat, you'll see I've got this in my list 2. I've got these values. So I go to stat again. I go across to calc. It's one variable stat, so I'm just looking at one column. So I say enter. But now I'm going to put in my second list, my column L2, and I say enter. And there it gives us this. Over here is your mean. So your mean is 64.7. 64.7. And your standard deviation is this one over here, 13.28. So I'm going to write 13.3 will be your standard deviation. So obviously much easier to do it on the calculator, although it's good to know or to understand the process. Then it says represent these values in an ordered stem and leaf diagram. So when it says ordered, it needs to go from smallest to largest. And basically what we're going to have is we would draw a line like that, and we are looking at the ages, these ages of the 7 in months of the 7 students. So I've got to go from smallest. So I put in here 190. All right, so it's 19. Then I'm going to have the units here. So this is going to be 190, and then we're going to have the units, and then we're going to get 2, 2, 1, and 2, 2. That's as far as we're going to go. It goes up to 226. That's your highest number, so that will cover it. And then I've got 194, so I put my 4 there. I've got no 190s. Now I go into my 200, and I've got 205, 208, and I've got 200. So my 200 is the smallest, so I have a 0, 5, and 8. Then I've got rid of those, and then I've got 210, so I've just got a 0 there. Got rid of my 210. Then I've got 226 and 223, so it's 3 and 6. So I've dealt with that. It's good to always knock them out as you go along, just to make sure that you're using them all up, you're not leaving any out, and notice you've got them in the correct order.